Welcome, my nomads. We're back at it again. Got another episode for y'all. Got a special guest with me here, the Medic Grizzly himself, Dar'Ron Harmon. Say what's up to the people.
Yeah, man. What's going on?
Chilling. So, I wanted to bring you on here because you are a black vet.
I am. 10 years.
And you had a perspective on Falcon and the Winter Soldier that really hit.
We can get into that, yes.
That really hit me. First of all, as a whole, what did you think of the show?
Immaculate. Like, it was literally the best TV show, comic book relation that I ever seen in my life.
Even better than Daredevil?
Yeah, Daredevil was trash on the low. Ben Affleck, he sucked. It's like, nah. But that's a shot at Nigel, if you know who Nigel is. Nah, if you know who Nigel is. The Netflix series was actually a 9 out of 10. But this one was a 10 out of 10 because it hit home for me. It's just the impact of who Falcon is. Him being the African-American male in the military who worked on people who have PTSD and having the ability to go next to someone who is the great hope in Captain America and basically earning the stripes that Captain felt that he was the next man in line. That's speaks volumes.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I even forgot for a second that he works at the VA.
Yes.
Before he was an Avenger, he worked at the VA and he was a counselor. And that's something that, like, over time, the movies, you forgot about that, and then the show brought it back. Yeah,
so about basically like the history of like where he was. Like, you can find me there. It's a room having a meeting, and the show like highlighted that.
Right.
Like, he was a regular guy helping out vets, showing that's where his heart was in the first place. It's about helping out those that need help. Like, you talking about being a hero, like, you gotta be able to do the groundwork before you get the shield.
Yeah, gotta crawl before you can walk. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even Steve Rogers did that. He did.
Great
in his
cat.
little
Great.
basic training, you know, is that he failed on every time. But he stuck in there, he kept at it, and one can say that's what Sam did. You know, a lot of people was all up in arms after Endgame came out. It's like, oh, why did he get the shield and Bucky didn't get the shield? I'm like, take those two characters, set them side to side. Bucky was a brainwashed guy.
Yep.
Was a agent of the Soviet Army, I think.
You can say Hydra. You can do it.
Hydra, yeah. Let's say Hydra. Hydra agent for the longest time. Brainwashed.
Assassin, just killing folks.
Assassin, right on the
Dropping
streets, right in.
like that.
I mean, in the Winter Soldier movie, he was right on the streets of DC, just killing folks.
Blasting.
No
Rocket
problem.
launcher, didn't care.
I mean, Sam from Jump Street, he's a counselor for the VA. He always helped people. He was like a pararescue. In the military, and there was always something about Sam that he had like this hope to him. Like, he just always wanted to do right, always wanted to do good, and Bucky always had that shadow cast over him. So it was like Sam was always the ideal choice to take the shield.
And yes, that's hands down yes.
Right. Hold the mic close.
People that had issues with the whole Winter Soldier not getting the shield right away, most of them are comic book heads that there was a part where he was Captain America. His suit was amazing, had the shield, the gun. It looked badass. But if you want your Captain America to be a symbol of hope, you want to have faith in him, and you want him to stand for the symbol represent of America, if you want to put it like that. You're going to pick an assassin that's been dropping bodies for how long? Or you're going to pick someone who's helping out troops going through a depression.
Right.
Sam is more grounded. Now, you want to talk about all movies you ever have that make you shed a tear? When Falcon got the shield, almost cried, bro. Like, literally almost cried in the movie theater. Like, that moment right there, you don't understand. Like,
I ain't know that.
A man of color being given the overall, you can call it a symbol, you can call it responsibility of like, you are the leader, we gonna follow you. What? We gonna follow you? You a man of color? Red, white, and blue? Come on, man. Come on. Like, yeah.
On your left.
That's rare. Rare.
Yeah. I mean, that That's why I wanted to bring you on, because you have a whole different perspective. I mean, I was looking at it from one way, but you was looking at it from all angles. I mean, you can relate to Sam.
Yes.
You've been in the front lines.
Yes.
You can relate to him. Like, I remember you telling me stories about basic training and going out in the field, your weapon of choice and stuff. I'm like, dang. And then that day, at the last episode, I hit you up. I was like, yo, did you see the last episode? You was like, yeah, man, that hit me so deep. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's true. It would.
Because nobody wanted him. Nobody wants everyone has their idea of who should be in charge. Everyone has the idea of, like, you have to look like this. You got to have the blue eyes, no offense, the blonde hair. You got to have the posture. You got to have everything about you to say that you are everything. Superman. But you got to be everything. When the real truth about it is, that is not America. That is not real life. That is a fictional, of all fictional things in the world, Captain America, Sam Rogers, like, literally is that's what America wants to be. That's not the real thing. Sam Wilson is what America really is. You got to have the good, you got to have the bad. You got to be able to balance it. You also got to be able to, at the end of the series, when he's talking to the governor, like, yo, you guys are not listening. You got to actually understand that what you are doing is impacting everybody. Right. And actually, like, there's repercussions to what you do. You can't just sit in a room and decide what you're going to do and not speak to the people outside the room. You got to be able to have a connection.
Right.
And Falcon right there for me, like, I love Venom. Falcon might be number one for me.
I will say this show has really redeemed Falcon for me.
Why is that? Why is that for you, though?
When and I've talked to you about this before, like, he seemed like a dude that was a placeholder just to co-sign anything that Steve Rogers had to say. In every movie, I mean, he even says it in one movie. He says, Sam says, hey, I do whatever he does, I just do it slower. I'm like, cringe moment. Cringe moment.
Early Marvel days, they were trying to early.
I'm like, hey, I'm grateful, War Machine came on the scene. I'm glad Falcon came on the scene. But they kind of just were just second fiddle to their white counterparts. Let's be honest. Let's keep it real. I mean, you see that scene in Civil War where Iron Man and War Machine, they show up, and War Machine's kind of like his hype man throughout that conversation. Like, Iron Man's like, hey, it's kind of crazy how you just come to the airport and you run into people. He's like, yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah. You ever see, like, those comedy duos? And one's clearly the leader, and the other one's just...
Marvel had a bad round of that. But we're breaking away from that. Okay?
We're breaking away. I mean, correct me. Is Falcon and Winter Soldier the first time that we see Rhodes without Iron Man?
Yeah. Yeah, because Endgame, Tony, R.I.P., is officially gone. We'll see what happens. But right now, that's the first time, and it's like, it's post. Everything is the trauma, everything, all the situations, the challenges. This is real now. Like, you can't rely on that, so you got to step up and be the next person, next man up.
Some people might argue, oh, well, in Endgame, he separated from Tony. He was with Nebula, and they did... I'm like, we're splitting hairs here. We're splitting hairs. But really, Sam and War Machine were kind of like second fiddle. And, like, I'm like a fan of theirs because they're military, they're black, they have a whole different perspective. And then when they got announced for the movies, he was like, yeah, man, yeah. And then you see them, you're like, I still think about that line. I just do what he does, only slower.
But you have to understand, he had to... Everyone can't be Black Panther. Okay?
This is true.
I'm going to say this right now.
This is true.
People may not like this. I appreciate Falcon more than I appreciate Black Panther.
Whew.
I also can relate more to Killmonger than I can to T'Challa.
Okay, I can see that. Speak on that.
Okay.
Speak on that.
And the reason being is because I came from a situation where things were not really given to me. You had to work for it. So, Black Panther, in my personal opinion, he was given, like, you could say he had to earn to be king, had to fight for his ground.
He had to fight to be Black Panther
he
and
had to
king.
fight for it. Yeah, got that, right? But when did he ever struggle?
You saw it.
No. Like when do you have a regular job? When does he have to worry about money? When
he was always rich.
Okay. So let's put it how it is. No matter what, he was the king's son. Yeah. Okay.
My man just bought some buildings on an afterthought. I was like, yo, I just bought that one. I bought that one. All right, I see what you're saying.
Killmonger was cast away because he was not considered
pure blood, I guess.
I guess the whole royalty and how things took place with he didn't want to leave, him being in the United States, having an offspring there. Like his dad basically gave him the rope, saying, "Yo, you have this."
Because he was born in America, so he had ties there. He had a social security number and stuff. So if he just disappeared,
and that ate at him so much that he became the savage of Killmonger to go back and say, "I'm taking it all." Mm-hmm. While Black Panther, you had to do one battle a year that you could train for in the top class. Falcon, my friend, literally it was your average Joe who went to the military, who had to do what he had to do, who was around the people, and then was the glorified sidekick in your words. And then
in the movies he was.
Yes, and paid his dues.
Right.
And then paid his dues, got the promotion that everyone knows like he deserves it and gets it. That's who I can relate to.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let's not forget too that Falcon's and Spider-Man mentions it in Civil War. He was like, "Yo, your reflex ratio to action ratio or something like that has to be off the charts for you to be able to man that flying machine thing."
It's like he was crazy. Like people don't talk about his intelligence. Like he's not the Iron Man. I'm not gonna build in a cave and build a whole suit, but he has different little bit this, a little bit of leadership. He is what you want a leader to be. Your leader does not have to be the strongest character as far as ability, but you want him to be the strongest character in morals. You want him to be able to like, yo, this is not right. We should do this. How does he have that ability? Because he's been through trials and tribulations in life and actually had to do different things and experience different things. Case in point, he wanted to get a loan and could not get the loan. We're talking about the TV show. He wanted to get a loan. Hey, I'm Falcon. He's technically poor. He's not even getting paid. He's not getting paid.
And so he literally dude had the nerve to ask him to have a picture after he told him he couldn't get a loan.
Because we are the glorified trophy. We are the glorified trophy in some people's eyes. You want to be in that camera, you want to show that highlight.
Like a Funko Pop.
But when the cameras are cut off, hey, you're just a regular person. Go do what you gotta do. I don't really care. So that is why Falcon actually going through the mud, crawling through it, and being on the top of the hill, and he got that shield. Yeah.
I like how the show brought back his experience dealing with vets and speaking to people. Like any chance he got, Sam would try to talk people down, talk them out of whatever they were trying to do. I mean, he changed a whole world committee's idea of what they should do with refugees. And that's Captain America, if anything.
It is.
I mean, not to downplay what Steve Rogers did, but I don't think he did that. I don't think he did anything to that level.
I can get my dates wrong. Steve Rogers, what was it, 1940s, 50s? Like
1940s.
40s? Okay. America in 1940s, how portrayed was in comics, his main enemy was Nazis when it first started. It was going against that. Red Skull, Nazi flag, everything. What about that was about someone that you or I can relate to? Was put out there. It really wasn't. The world was one way, and that's the way it basically followed, right? So as anything in life, evolution happens. You change, people grow, you learn more, you do more. Right now, in the way the world is in that MC universe, also in the way this world is now, people are getting more chances to do different things and show their true worth. Right. And I think that right there is why you mentioned the whole council and how you can actually portray and show and articulate things differently for them to actually hear them and actually want to be like, you know what, you're right. It's because you got a little seasoning.
Yeah.
And you got to have that and to basically be able to talk to someone and to relate to things. You got to have some kind of scars. And he has that. Well, he didn't want to sell his mom's boat. He did not want to sell it. He wanted to rebuild it. He wanted to put it back out because it's important to what you came from and where you're going to go. Right. When the kids are around watching them doing different things, he said, Black Falcon, no. not doing the Black Falcon. Falcon, like you know,
like, what are you, hey, black kid?
Yeah, like exactly. Like you're not. Don't put that label because of my complexion. I have to be black first. Don't do that. I am who I am. Right. I earn the position I am. If I'm president, I am president. I'm not black president. Like you literally
black president.
Yeah, but you earn your actual title. You earn your stripes off of trials, and he passed that, and he got it. So hands down, he's the GOAT. I said it.
That's one of my favorite parts of the show. You Black Falcon? Like, no. What does that make you, black kid?
Like, no, come on.
It's one of my favorite parts.
It's amazing. It really is.
But yeah, people will do that because so many characters, and not just Marvel, but in all comic books are like, there's a black before the name. It's like,
and is that because like you just want to be like, yo, hey, I know who you are, but we're gonna put this here first so people know that you're not the.
Right.
No, give me my title.
Even like Invincible, the show, the comic series that recently got a show, they got a guy in there, Black Samson.
Black Samson. Samson of all the names, Samson and black in front of it.
And then the other guy who's so strong, his name is Bulletproof. If y'all can see his face.
Bulletproof. Yeah,
but hey,
that's not cringing. That's cringing.
But hey, sometimes you gotta take what you can get, because sometimes it might start out as black such and such, and then years later it comes to be that a good showrunner gets to make a show out of it. Shout out to Malcolm Spellman, who did Falcon and Winter Soldier, who was like, I want to show y'all some real stuff. We're gonna talk about some real stuff. And man, Falcon and Winter Soldier did not hold anything back.
Even from just going back in the heritage of the original Captain America and what he had to go through and tests being done and everything else, and how, I'm not going to get out too many, but everything that had to be done and everything that was considered highlights of Captain America history in the old museum. What's wrong?
No, I'm good.
It wasn't on there. Like, you had no idea about Avery. You have no idea who he was. Nothing about who he is at all. This man literally did everything Captain America did, but no one talked about it because he was an experiment that no one's supposed to know. Keep it hush. Because during that time period, it was not recognized or rewarded for you standing up and being something outside the box. Falcon, Sam Wilson, Captain America is outside of the box. It's not your norm. Literally, it shows about 15 minutes a clip of him. He's not a super soldier. So him flicking this shit around, he had to work. It shows him working to maintain
he had to train to.
On top of that, he's preserving the tree. Like, yo, I gotta put the pads on top of the tree. I gotta make sure I maintain this. It's my property. Like, he is doing the groundwork to be successful. And that is so important in today's world. Like, you have to be able to not like, okay, I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna take all these things, I'm gonna accept all these things. That's not how the world really works.
Right.
Like, you need to tell you one job you ever been to where you step in there, you seen the people who get stuff, and then you seen people who works for stuff. The way corporate America works, it ain't always right. It's not always right.
Yeah.
So to see them like just put this on the screen, the way they did it, kudos to them, man. It is
raw and uncut for the most part. I mean, Isaiah Bradley, his character, did the same thing as Steve Rogers did. He went to jail for 30 years. And they didn't let him out.
Nope.
Someone took pity on him and helped him escape.
Yep. And he basically was dead.
He would have been there the rest of his life.
And he was scared of anyone knowing he was alive because they would come back and do more experiments.
A super soldier was scared. He was like, look, I know they're going to try to kill me.
And what are you going to do? Like, that's much fear. And the correlation of that, like, knowing that I am the truth. I am what really happened. But I cannot speak on that because of the fear of what may happen. And
I don't even think it was just his fear about himself. He had a grandson.
Fear for his family.
Yeah.
That's really, like, American history is dark. Like, it's really dark. And I'm so happy.
In all facets of the word dark.
It's No pun intended. But anyway, it is like it's some shady things happen. Some real shady things to have taken place behind the scenes, and politics and how the whole world works. So even when after Endgame, Sam Wilson was given the shield, the government still didn't want to accept Sam Wilson getting the shield. Like, you were given the shield by the man who was Captain America, literally saying that you are the appointed one. You have done enough. You are it. And I am literally stepping in and saying, no, you're not. Let me get that back.
You see how fast they had a replacement already?
They had him already in uniform. It wasn't like a press conference, come out there in a suit and like, hey, I'm going to accept that. This man was already a draft pick in their uniform.
It was the next day. The next day. And they had training videos prior, so they were already training this dude. Bro. Come on, man.
That's hilarious.
And you see the way he looked, and that's why Sam at the end was like, look, I don't have super soldier serum. I don't have blue eyes or blonde hair.
Yes.
It had to be said. Because they already had a replacement for that dude.
Coming out on the football field like, hey, yeah, great, yeah. And why? They want the shield because the shield is that simple. And
and it's one of a kind. They can't make a replacement.
Yeah, so Sam having that shield was like, wait, we didn't get permission for this. Wait, we don't, this is kind of scares a little bit. We don't want that to happen.
Right.
It might give other people ideas that they can be more than what you think they can be. We don't want that yet. So let me bring that back. Come here. Bring that back. Run that back.
Right.
And then we'll give it to you another day. And now, even to the point, in that entire show, they never really said, I wanted you to be that. Ever. It was more like, over time it's happened. Your dude was not it. He screwed up. He messed up. I'm taking this back. And I'm taking it back, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And you don't have a choice but to actually see me for who I am.
Right.
And no, I'm not giving it back to you. I actually had a take to be Captain America. They never appointed him. In that entire series, they never said, yo,
even in the
I
end.
see you. I know what you stand for. I admit, we picked a bad apple. You are the right one. Sam...
Yeah,
he was right. They never, ever said that. They just went on with the show saying, bruh, I'm taking my mantle back. You not doing anything about it. It's mine. Deal with it.
Now that you mentioned that,
they never,
after that whole
they never anointed him,
thing
ever.
that he did, that Walker did, they never was like, Sam, we was wrong, here you go.
Never. And that's how it works. That's how it works. Like, you had to, like, that's why I respect him even more. Like, the writers, the director, the creator, his character has so much value when it comes to me being a vet, me being a man of color. It speaks to me. Like, you can't just go out there and get handouts, T'Challa. You got to actually work for it.
Speaking of that, I mean, Malcolm Spellman, the showrunner for this, the creator, shout out to Malcolm Spellman. He is now doing Captain America 4, the movie. And if you hear this guy's story, I saw his interview with Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardo on Fat Man Beyond. Shout out to Fat Man Beyond. They spoke to him, and he was just like, look, I had it rough in Hollywood for like 20 years. I wrote one good script. Everybody wanted me in their circle, but no one wanted to make my script because I had a black lead. Everybody tried to turn white. So I was in the industry for 20 years, but I wasn't doing anything.
I never knew that. Wow.
And then he got on Empire, and that's how he got noticed, and then he got this job. But he had to work to get to this point. And now look at him. My man's on cloud nine. Well, I won't say he's on cloud nine, but he's making moves now. He's doing Captain America 4. Look at all that work he did into that show. Like, he talked about all the themes he wanted to talk about, how he didn't want to sugarcoat stuff. And matter of fact, let me ask you this, because they asked him this question too. It was like, do you ever think there could be an Isaiah Bradley story of what happened back then? A Disney Plus show showing that.
With him being the director, all things are possible. Prior to me seeing the production that he put together, I would tell you, no, we're not ready for it. Let alone Disney is not ready for it. Because it will be, they'll be forced to speak about things that are uncomfortable. He made things uncomfortable during the series, but at the same time eye-opening. And there's people that realize, like, oh shoot, that's wrong. That's just wrong. Not how you put it. That's just wrong.
Yeah, man.
So Bradley, I hope it gets a prequel. I hope it shows his history, because it will just open the eyes more of like the Captain America, the actual Shield. It's more than just Rogers. There's a big thing to it. It's a history. It's like it goes on.
Right.
If he's behind it, I want to see it. Like, he's made a huge fan out of me because of how he portrayed. Because like you said it, prior to his production, prior to him actually doing what he did on this actual series, War Machine, Falcon, were comedy relief, which historically is the good old buddy, but I gotta have a sidekick
I mean, even in the show, this is why I think Malcolm Spellman is a genius. Even in the show, John Walker had to have a black counterpart just to show.
It's like he poked fun at that part and then he kills him. He kills him.
Yeah, and what happened?
Is that metaphorically that he killed that whole buzz about being a sidekick? I really wish I have a talk with him one-on-one. Like,
his name was Battlestar, right? Yeah, Battlestar. Yeah,
atrocious, by the way.
Even Bucky was like, "This is too much." Even Bucky was like, "What's your name?"
I'm sorry.
I'm his partner, Battlestar.
If you are a Battlestar fan, I apologize, but that is probably top 10 worst name ever.
That's isn't that in the comics? That's his name in the comics. Yeah,
And the comic costume is so bad, so bad. But
just to show like how it's like all a marketing thing. Like they even try to recreate the Sam and Steve dynamic by having.
Speaking of that, remember when they were riding back and he's like, "Yeah, I need to have my wingmen, my sidekicks," and he's like, "I'm not quoting words." He's like, "You had me till the end." That last word.
Yeah, he did.
That last word.
He was like, "Oh, you have me," and then he just walked out.
And I want to ask him as a director. Maybe we can find a way to contact him, like just via social media, whatever is right on. Did he kill Battlestar off for a metaphor? Like, did he do that to actually end the overall quote unquote token sidekick, to show the rebirth of someone that can be totally different? Because it's stories within the stories that we don't even talk about. Like Benzema, we didn't talk about that. That man was a don. He was the man. But there's so many like internal stories in that actual series. That's amazing.
I don't think we get Nomad if Battlestar is still alive. Okay. I think even Lamar would have been like, "Look, you're going too far. Okay. What are you doing?" He probably would have given him some friction, but because Lamar wasn't there, that was like the last nail in the coffin for Walker. Like, you could tell Walker, I mean, yeah, I don't know if he's a bad guy per se. I do think he's battling some demons, especially like through some of the missions he did in the military. Maybe he has some PTSD. But I mean,
who's good counsel for that?
Sam, and I mean, he practically fixed Bucky. And like, I think for Walker, Lamar was his kind of like his North Star.
Okay.
Oh, why did I say North Star?
Oh.
Battlestar. But he was kind of his compass to stay on the right path. And then after he lost that, it was everything was on. I was watching that episode. I was like, "Yo, did he just do that at the end?"
Straight.
And then you see the shield with
the air going down, cutscene, blood on the shield, like. And
we keep bigging up Malcolm Spellman. Also, the director Kari Skogland, like, we got to give her some big ups, man. She directed every episode. It was amazing. But man, that imagery, man, it was crazy. Just boom, 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 and then the shield with blood on it.
Did you ever think? Imagine, no question, off subject, totally off subject. Did you ever think you would see that such intensity or violence in a Disney program?
No. I didn't think I would see something like that. I didn't think I would see some of the themes that are in this show. I didn't even think that like some themes and some things that were said in Black Panther would have been available, would have been possible.
Yeah, but then you have a Disney Plus. This is Disney. This is one of the dons. It's Disney. Gonna put this out? That's one of your first shows you put out?
And you said that you could see Malcolm Spellman creating an Isaiah Bradley story. He himself said he doesn't think it's possible. he himself said because of how he would want to do it, that's too much for Disney. And he would want to show.
It may be
everything.
too much for Disney. Might have to be like an exclusive, like
Disney owns Hulu. Give it to Hulu or FX. They own FX.
Where's Deadpool lie? Is Deadpool gonna be radar?
They say it is.
Is that gonna be under Disney though?
It is gonna be under Disney. Well, they own 20th Century Fox now, so maybe it will be under the Fox banner.
If there was a Bradley sequel, I think it will be under the umbrella of where he is.
And they own FX now, so it could be like a FX.
Because it would probably scar kids if they actually had to hear about real history, but through a comic, more than textbooks when they open up and there's false stories. But anyway,
I mean, like they did it with Watchmen, but that's like a rated R. Mature show on HBO.
Like Disney is a platform,
they didn't hold anything back.
Kids can log in right now, so like they're not. I don't know if they're going to do that for Disney.
Disney even like edits their own stuff, so it's more kid friendly now. Like their old movies that they put on Disney Plus, they edited them so that they would be.
Yeah, they changed the verbiage and everything about different things, so they didn't want to get flagged for certain things. They want to keep on a certain standard. Right, so with that being said, the production and the conclusion of Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain America and Winter Soldier. What? Y'all got the green light to pull this off and put this out? I have all the confidence in the world he can do anything he wants. Anything.
Yeah, I can't wait for Captain America 4. I can't, man. I can't. And I kind of hope, because it's a new Captain America, because it's Sam, I hope they don't even call it Captain America 4, just Captain America something. You know, so it's more separate from Steve Rogers' Captain America.
Now you said that, there is one thing that they changed in the comics they did on the TV series that I actually appreciated. They didn't give him the ability to talk to birds.
Some people are mad about that. I'm like, who's mad about that?
That's a really cool ability if you were introduced with that ability. The way the world is, it would have came off corny. It would have came off as, it's a joke. I can't take him serious. You talk to birds. Like, literally, you talk to birds. But they changed that and made it drone.
Because he wasn't military in the comics, right?
In the comics? Yeah. Sam Wilson's always military. Sam was he my original back with the red and white costume, everything else?
Well, if you look up his origins,
that original one, I don't think he was. But like, as far as the one I grew up on, everything I knew about, that one, he's always been military.
I'm talking about the OG Sam Wilson with the green suit. Not the red and white.
The green suit, like the whole like jive turkey.
Yeah. Literally. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. He wasn't military, was he? Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, I think that's how you got on the island or something like. I don't know.
America, thank you for evolving from that. Please.
I'm so glad they got rid of that origin of Sam Wilson.
It would be like, I can't take this man serious.
What was his name? It was literally like Jive or something like that. I was like, come on,
There's so many bad names back in the day. There's
so many bad black comic book character origins from back in the day.
Worst costume of all time. Go. Who's the worst costume of all time back in the day?
Not Shazam. Black Lightning.
Black Lightning's worse. You think is worse of all time?
Well, nah, maybe Falcon's is.
Blade's costume from back in the day.
Blade with the afro and the polo and
Luke Cage original outfit.
Oh, Luke Cage is horrible.
Okay,
dude, so he had a tiara. Luke Cage had a tiara, my guy. A tiara.
I can't do it. I'm like, original Falcon.
Nah, it's definitely Luke Cage. That tiara. And he has chains as a belt. Chains as gauntlets and chains as a belt. With a tiara. And like a it looked like a blouse he had on.
So you are someone that's behind the camera. You see things a little different than the average folk. How do you feel about what Netflix did with Luke Cage versus what Disney did with Captain America, Winter Soldier?
All right, so I'm gonna say this because we've talked about this before.
I
have an issue, and this is not even necessarily a Netflix production issue, but this is like a black character issue. I have an issue with black characters whose main villains are street crime or gangs.
Ooh,
yeah.
go figure.
I have an issue with that.
Okay.
Because you could look at like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Batman. They have super villains.
Like, it actually took thought. It actually took a process. Like, yo, listen, I want to make a cool character with a cool villain. Not, oh.
Your characters become cool with the villains.
Not, oh, you're a black man, so you're going to jail to get powers to come out and deal with thugs.
Yeah. I have super strength. You know what I'm going to do? Clean up these streets.
Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. You know what I'm going to do? Get rid of black on black crime. Because that's the biggest threat in America.
And I am bulletproof. Bruh.
I mean, Luke Cage is kind of a flawed character, but you could have changed what he was. He literally is just going around in Harlem, be like, you know what my biggest enemy is? The local crime lord. I'm like, I have an issue with that. I have an issue.
His headquarters was a barbershop. Like, let's cut it. Like, cut the crap. Every stereotype they had for a black man,
yo, you're so right.
They put inside Luke Cage. Like, they didn't even try. They didn't even try. They put him in a barbershop. A barbershop. A man that went to prison to gain power, that got experiments, and came out. And his weapon of choice, a chain.
Did you notice that they gave him the afro while he was in prison too?
With the glued on sideburns and everything else. I know we're off subject a little bit, but this explains to you how much I appreciate Sam Wilson. Okay? It tells you how much I appreciate him.
Sam Wilson has actual villains. I don't know his villains are pretty much like Avenger villains, but
yeah, he's more of like, he is the bridge of after.
Yeah.
And it's what people needed. Like, there comes a point in time where he drops the shield because he gets tired of the political BS. He's like, yo, I'm not dealing with this no more. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't care. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah,
Not even on the podcast, we talk about that. He's like, I'm done. Oh, I found the original costume and it's freaking hideous. It's green and orange. I couldn't think of what others it was, but there's also a red and white one. That's what it was. They changed the colors to red and white, and they had the Falcon on his right hand. Like, like, you know what it reminds me of? Any wrestling fans in here? Junkyard Dog.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Junkyard Dog.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But
man,
that's another reason. That's one of my issues too with Black Lightning. Another great black superhero who's reduced to just like, I'm gonna get this local gangster. There's always got to be like drugs and the local gangster because that's all he is, huh? That's all we are, right? There's no world level threat, you know. It's just, and then don't get me wrong, I love Luke Cage's show, I love it, but every time, even in the Defenders, what is he doing? He's just like pop, 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 taking the bullets for everybody. Then they go out and fight. Then he's like, get behind me, pop, 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 pop.
You know what? I'm gonna go out the throat now. I'm out the throat. Okay.
Oh, don't do it.
You said you love Luke Cage the series, okay?
I do.
Season 2.
It's amazing.
Who's his villain?
Them calling me Bushmaster. Them calling me Bushmaster.
So you go from dealing with local street thugs to dealing with who? Of all the people in the world.
Bushmaster.
And his background, his heritage is what?
Jamaican.
Okay, and he goes for witchcraft.
Hold on.
And he uses powers to take over the building.
Hold up. It's not witchcraft. It's voodoo. Get it right.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, exactly. Okay. That's his.
Look up his original character though. They changed it for the better.
Okay, I get that. But what does season 2 tell you about? What did he do?
It's still drugs and yeah. Yeah, man. See, stop. You want to make me not like the show.
What you just said you hated is literally season 2.
And I love season 2 because I love reggae and everything. They was playing the reggae music and they had Stephen Marley on there. Bro.
They had a bowl. Like I'm guessing like the board of what is black culture. Let's just throw it in. Come on, man. Without any thought.
Come on, man.
Without any thoughts.
I think all we're trying to say is let's do better. Let's take these old characters and let's shape them up a little better, you know? We can do a little better.
Make them sound real bad. Did you feel that Luke Cage was intelligent?
Yes.
You did. Did you feel...
He was wise. He was a very wise
man.
Yes.
Been through struggle, been through his things, right?
Yes.
Do you feel that the overall story was showing him improving and developing and in helping the fight or cause that he was so adamant about helping. Did you see the promotion? Did you see any of that? Or did you see the never-ending cycle of what they want to keep a certain culture in?
Check this, man. You put something in my head just now. It literally just popped in my head. I gotta say this. So you know how, I don't know if you know, but if you know how, like, some people might know, Bill Cosby, before all this stuff happened, before all this stuff happened, Bill Cosby was like the staple, like, good black man with his clean comedy. And he had this crusade against all the up-and-coming black comedians.
Shout out D.L. Hughley.
There's plenty. Yes,
D.L. Hughley, you were the man.
There's plenty of stories of D.L. Hughley, Eddie Murphy, of them getting calls from Bill Cosby and him just cussing them out like, "Yo, the way you do comedy is not right." Da da da. What you just said just now about Luke Cage, it reminded me of that because I was like, Luke Cage's character, after what you just said, kind of was like, he's kind of like the Bill Cosby in this situation where he's going after other black folks, like, "Oh, you making us look bad." Like,
the overall villain was a nightclub owner.
Stop.
They took turns owning the nightclub and went back to the nightclub. Then it was dirty politician that went back to the nightclub that had family drama and
shout
family
out to Mahershala
heritage.
Ali, though, man.
Oh yeah, he plays his part very well. The piano by his skills, amazing.
Stop, bro.
Think about it. Okay, we can go on more. Like, literally, I know it's a little off subject, but that's what they did. They went back a circle again about the projects and about that. There was nothing. Luke Cage was a city, a town. Sam
Harlem,
Wilson.
that's all he was.
Sam Wilson is
the world.
The world.
The world, literally.
The world.
Yeah.
You can look at Sam Wilson like, yo, I want to be like that. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Luke Cage like, it's just another guy that's living dead doing stuff. It sounds so bad, but it's true. It's true when you think about it.
Sweet Christmas.
Think about it. Sweet Christmas. Think about it. You talking about a movie?
Ooh.
You ever think about a movie with Luke Cage?
They tried for years.
Can you?
Tyrese was almost Luke Cage. Lawrence Fishburne was almost Luke Cage.
You want Tyrese and Luke Cage? You want to bury?
They look for every bald black guy. Tyrese, Lawrence Fishburne. Who else was it? Was it Wesley Snipes? Or was it somebody else? There was a bunch of bald black guys that they kept trying to get.
Now. This character I'm going to mention had maybe 15 minutes, 15 and 20 minute camera time in the entire movie. I felt he had more potential towards uplifting and also just overall breaking the realm of stereotypes. Goliath had a better actual storyline than Luke Cage did in the entire 2 seasons.
Come on.
And you know it's true. He was
Come on, man. Goliath was barely on screen, man.
We're
talking about Lawrence Fishburne's character in Ant-Man 2.
Right? Then watch it. Now, I want you to think about this later on when you're watching Luke Cage and think about what they did. They kept him in a box.
Harlem.
They kept him in a box.
Come on, man. They didn't have that big of a budget, man. Even Daredevil is still just in New York.
Iron Fist is better than Luke Cage.
Whoa. Are you talking character-wise or the show?
Fist. The show.
Because that show... What? No.
Was better than Luke Cage.
That show, I think everybody is in agreement. Iron Fist is a horrible show.
How do you think I feel about Luke Cage then?
Luke Cage was way better than that.
Think about it. Why do you think there were never Heroes for Hire show? Why do you think they never actually, why do you think Ace stopped it? Why do you think Daredevil had to be a part of...
Iron Fist was so bad.
Why do you think Daredevil had to be part of, every episode of every single thing, of anything?
No, he wasn't.
Why do you think
it was Rosario Dawson who was in every episode of everything.
They were okay with making Jessica Jones and continue making for her. Why? Because there was more character development. There was more actual,
come on, man,
things outside of a city block.
Come on, man. I don't think you've seen Luke Cage lately, man.
I don't need to see it again.
What?
What was the main villain the first time? Second season? Who was it?
Diamondback, man.
Diamondback. He has a whole culture of snakes. That's his villains.
Cottonmouth. Stop, bro. This is an older character from the 70s, bro.
His villain are a bunch of snakes, and what are snakes basically called out for? Oh yeah, we got holes in this one, buddy. Let's go. There's holes in this one.
Come on,
There's mad. Oh yeah,
come on, man.
There's mad holes.
So what you're saying is Malcolm Spellman should take Luke Cage and revamp him. That's what you're saying.
He will make it. Oh my gosh.
He will make it better. He won't just be fighting gang war. He'll be fighting real villains, real super villains.
It's not about even fighting super villains. The actual story will be something that you will look at and learn from.
I think Luke Cage's show had a good story, though. Don't do that. I thought it had a good story. What was your issue with the story?
Are we comparing, or are we just talking in general?
All right, so let's move on. I have a question I want to ask you about.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, for the true fans out there, we all know the shield is made from vibranium from Wakanda.
Yes.
In your opinion, why do you think Okoye, I'm sorry, Io, why do you think Io left the shield after they fought Walker and Battlestar and everybody? One of the chicks picked it up, one of the Dora Milaje, and she was like, leave it.
Because that's literally their feelings about America.
You think it's tainted? You think they feel like it's tainted?
It doesn't mean it means nothing.
Look how they painted it.
Not only that, like everything America stands for in other people's eyes, MCU world, real life world, people overseas don't really like America as people because we're always someone's business. We're always thinking we're like the big bad wolf. Like literally let people live. Let people do their own thing. Mind your own business. There's an old song. I can't think of the group now. It's sweep around your own front yard before you try to sweep around mine. That's literally what America has the worst problem doing. Mind your own business. Do your own thing. So when people see anything that represents America, I don't want nothing to do with it. So when they see the shield, I don't want it. Oh. It means nothing to me. It's said, have it. Look, that's literally what it is. But when Bucky asks for a favor, and he said, yo, I need that red, white, and blue, but it's for Sam. It gets done.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
It gets done. It gets done.
Vibranium wings.
Yes, it gets done. Because the man, like you said, anybody can wear a suit, but you can't wear like I can with the swag I got. Like your swag, everything about your character, that blossoms. Anybody can wear the same thing, but it does not. It's not viewed the same. It's
that
not.
vibranium, son. When that helicopter fell, he just shielded the dude. I was like, what? I was like, well, they put a pretty penny into this show. This must have been like, what, 20 million for the show?
Worth every penny. Worth every penny.
Well, even the first episode, the first opening sequence, flying through, fighting helicopters. I'm like, yo, this episode alone is like 15 million right here.
George St. Pierre. Good luck, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck, brother.
Yeah. I'm glad they brought him back.
Seeing you pop back in there. Do your thing and then dip
brought him back, baby.
Yeah, that was cool. That was real cool.
That was dope, man. Our generation's, the new generation's Jean-Claude Van Damme right there.
Yeah, he can do his thing, man. He did his thing. It was fun. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I personally think that you could continue on with the Falcon series and just TV series alone if you wanted to. And I would actually enjoy it. The movie is going to be... It's going to be a blockbuster. I know the world's different now with the whole COVID, everything else, but when that movie drops...
People are going to come out of their homes to see that. They're going to go to theaters.
Yes.
I mean, it's not coming out anytime soon, but you know...
It's because we were amazed by what happened. And when you trust somebody, like when I give you the ball and I know you're going to run through somebody, I'm going to run right behind you. I'll make sure it's there. If I give you the ball and you fumble it, Luke Cage, I don't care about ever watching it again.
So how do you feel about Black Lightning in the show? If you're saying all that about Luke Cage.
Black Lightning in the show. You might edit this out, Will. Black Lightning in the show is the epitome, the duplicate. It is the award of all awards of what DC Comics is. A show that has potential, but has no direction at all. To the point where your cast members wanted to quit the show mid-series. Yeah. They didn't even care about promoting it that it came out for the final season. They didn't even care about it because of how it was going and direction it was going. Literally, they had no faith in their team, no faith in the leadership. They cared more about the T-Mobile contracts and the cell phone contracts more than they actually care about DC Comics. Warner Brothers,
AT&T?
Yeah, AT&T. They cared more about those type of things than the gold mine they have in DC Comics. You have a principal that's on the CW. You had literally every TV show before Disney Plus even came out. You had Arrow.
Preach on that.
You had Arrow.
Preach on
anybody that watches anything with comics. If you didn't know nothing and you ever wanted to watch a comic show and just watch it and feel like, yo, this is freaking amazing. Arrow season 1.
Yeah, when that came out, bruh.
From that to what we got towards the end, and why is the Flash still on TV? I don't know.
I mean,
it's a definition of what Warner Brothers is. So when you ask my question about Black Lightning, it's something that had potential that literally, that's what happened. Like, I fumbled the ball. I have this prized possession, but I don't recognize it, so I just drop it and throw it in the trash.
I'm a smile
too. You give Black Lightning. You give Black Lightning to Marvel. You want to talk about something that's amazing? It's not gonna be no CW TV show. CW. Every time I think of CW, I'm old. I think about the Frog. That's what I think about when I think about CW. Yeah. That's what I think about.
But you know why Arrow fell off, right?
Tell me why.
A little show called Daredevil
was kicking his butt.
Like, yo, when Arrow season 1 came out, we didn't see shows like that before. With those fight scenes?
No.
We didn't see that before.
No.
That Netflix Daredevil came out, and we saw that. We was like, you could do that in the TV show?
Arrow's, people don't realize this, okay? Arrow's TV show, Will, when I tell you this right now, I'm sorry. Arrow's TV show was so popular, especially they made a comic book for the TV show.
Yes.
They created their own
character that already had comic books.
They created their own comic series, and you would go to a comic shop every month on the month of Wednesday when it came out, and you would purchase, and that was selling more than the actual DC comics of Green Arrow.
And then Daredevil came out.
That's how amazing season 1 was. My man went to wrestle and was doing like off wrestling shows and everything. That's how popular that show was. And right now, if I name 5 TV shows from any comic book character, CW would not be on your list.
Not one CW show.
They have a show called Legends, which makes no freaking sense.
Don't get me started on that show.
Yeah, so let's put it how it is. So DC Comics literally is that guy where, hey, I'm open. You're throwing the ball wide open end zone and just finds a way to trip in the end zone. That's what they are.
By the way, Titans wouldn't be on that list either. Wouldn't.
Titans is pretty badass. But they're
it's a shoestring budget, you can tell.
It's too far away. It's like they're spaced out too far in the seasons.
You can tell they don't care about that.
It's like 3 years in the seasons each one. Because who cares? Who runs it? Who runs it?
Dun dun dun.
Warner Brothers, please sell DC Comics to somebody. Like, sell the Dark Horse. Sell to somebody who actually cares. And give them some money. Give me somebody.
That's my thing. Like, they've had DC since DC formed.
Oh my god.
Disney didn't have Marvel until later. And they didn't have all the characters, so they had to build them up. Look, I've said this before in podcasts. I ain't gonna say it again, but at the end of the day, we're both big fans of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Malcolm Spellman. Thank you for Kari Scarland, who directed the series. And we look forward to Captain America 4.
Man.
That was a good one. My Nomads, I'm Nigel Sanderson. That was the Medic Grizzly himself, Dar'Ron Harmon. Peace, be creative.